To Europe now, and German Chancellor Angela Merkel has criticised the Austrian government's new measures to restrict its intake of refugees to just 80 a day. The decision by the Austrians and Macedonians to shut their borders to most asylum seekers is causing chaotic scenes in Greece, where tens of thousands of migrants are now stranded in camps. As Anne Barker reports.
Violent clashes on the Greek-Macedonian border have highlighted the deepening rift within Europe over its migrant policies. Asylum seekers broke through the border fence in frustration at Macedonia's decision to block the route to all but a few hundred. Macedonian authorities responded with tear gas, sending hundreds of asylum seekers running in panic. Aid organisations such as Médecins Sans Frontières say they're appalled tear gas could be used on children.
Our doctors have just treated 11 children, 9 of whom are under 5, for respiratory problems because of tear gas. I cannot believe that has happened and that we are doing this in a European Union country.
Macedonia says it will now only allow in as many people as Serbia accepts. Serbia has reacted to Austria's decision to cap its refugee intake to 37,000 for the whole year, or 80 claims a day. And once that limit's reached, which could be imminent, the Balkans route will be shut altogether. It's left tens of thousands of frustrated migrants stranded in Greece.
Look, maybe after 10,000, after what this system? No open, too much problem.
The growing divisions in Europe come as EU authorities in Brussels debate new measures on asylum seekers, such as a single coast guard, faster deportation of those who aren't genuine refugees, and uniform border checks. But increasingly, countries are adopting their own measures, and Austria's decision to cap its intake to 80 a day has prompted an angry response from Germany's Chancellor Angela Merkel. Lebanon has 5 million inhabitants and 1.5 million refugees, she says. Turkey has 70 million inhabitants and 2.5 million refugees. Now, I'm telling you that if a big continent like Europe with 500 million inhabitants can temporarily give refuge to 1 million Syrians, I don't think that's asking too much as a neighbouring region. And it's probably not even 1 million Syrians who are here who really need refuge. That's what I understand is Europe's responsibility during such a time, to make a contribution. The comments are all the more surprising given Angela Merkel has come under intense pressure herself to cut Germany's refugee intake, which exceeded 1 million last year. Her popularity in opinion polls fell, and the centre-right leader admits she's facing the biggest challenge yet of her decade in office. Nevertheless, the German leader rejects calls to close Germany's borders. We need to create legal migration, speak to Turkey about quotas and stop illegal migration. This is the task we're currently working on, and this is how we'll succeed in considerably and permanently reducing the number of refugees coming here. It's an approach that is happening on a much smaller scale in Italy, which yesterday took nearly 100 Syrian refugees who'd flown into Rome on a commercial flight. They'd been living in Lebanon and were granted humanitarian visas. Italy's Foreign Minister Paolo Gentiloni says it's a model other countries should follow to spare asylum seekers the risk of dangerous sea journeys, although he acknowledges it's only part of the solution.
We need several actions, and one of these actions is humanitarian corridors. The others are cooperation with Africa, the ceasefire in Syria, contributing to stability in Jordan, Lebanon, and to help Turkey with migrants, and sharing the burden of migration within Europe.
European leaders are due to meet again in a week to try to restore unity and find a common workable policy. But as more boats arrive in Greece every day, it's unlikely to stop the flow of asylum seekers.
Anne Barker reports.